You already know, man. It's Deion Dawkins, and you listening to the Real Deal Sports Show on the Beat 105.5.
All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Real Deal Sports Show. The Radman here, coming through your speakers loud and clear as we get our show rolling this Saturday morning. Talking to you, we got a lot to talk about for the next hour. Talking sports of all sorts for the next hour here on the Beat 105.5. We coming to you live each and every Saturday morning from the Rock Palm Broker Studios. There's a lot to talk about, a lot of things jumping off in the world of sports. We have a big high school game today with Monroe High School playing Oswego team today. They're playing the Oswego Free Academy at 3 p.m. this afternoon. That should be a very big game that's being played later on today in the world of sports. It should be a good high school football game. We're going to talk a little more about that. We're going to talk about the Buffalo Bills. The Bills, here they come, making moves at the last minute, making some desperate moves, as I would say. And we're also going to talk about Shedeur Sanders, some key comments before we get into the winner's edge later in the show. So we got a lot to talk about. And let's start off with the Buffalo Bills. The Bills coming up with a big game tomorrow in Pittsburgh. We'll be down in Pittsburgh covering the game for you, giving you all the insights of the pregame, postgame show of the game. Check us out on all social media platforms after the game with our analysis of the Bills Steelers. But for the Bills to bring Brandon Cooks in, that was to me an interesting move, to me a desperate move, because in the past you were able to use your running back receivers. Your running backs were the receivers a year ago, and for some reason, when Josh Allen's been under pressure this year, he's not using the running backs like he used. Ty Johnson was a big contributor receiving the football last year. Cook was running. Ty Johnson was catching, and so was Ray Davis. Ray Davis was making some nice catches as well. You got to use all three of those guys in the passing game. If you add them to your receiver core and you run in the type of offense where they're putting pressure on you, you got to dump the ball off to those receivers. And now we see the injury report. We see Deion Dawkins is out for the game Sunday. We also see that Spencer Brown is out for this game. Osiris Torrance is playing. McGovern is still playing. Those two guys are still in the lineup. But that just tells you the testament of the beatdown, the physical beatdown that they took in Houston, Texas, and that me and AD and the whole people and the people watching on TV land and the people there inside that stadium, that noisy, raucous NRG stadium last Thursday night, a week ago last night, beat those guys down. And you can see that guys did not come out of that game healthy. Josh Allen's bruised up as well, but they see Deion Dawkins out, and also to see Spencer Brown. Spencer Brown, Ryan Vandermark will probably replace Spencer Brown at right tackle. Alec Anderson at the at Deion Dawkins spot, and you may bring up Richard Gurridge, may come up off of the practice squad to be available just in case he's needed in this game on Sunday afternoon. But please, as Internet Passport says, hit the like button, leave a comment, and please subscribe to the show. Also, we taking callers this morning. 585 area code 595-1055. Give us a call. We're going to be talking about Shedeur Sanders' situation there in Cleveland, how a fifth-round draft pick becomes the first rookie quarterback to start a game and win their first game as a Cleveland Browns quarterback since 1995. How did all this happen? How did we get there? We're going to be talking about that shortly. But back to the Buffalo Bills. The Bills got to be able to run the football, handle with different pieces missing. At least these guys who are going to be in there in the lineup are guys that have played play on a regular basis. Alec Anderson comes in. We have Bilal. Bilal, welcome to Real Deal Sports Show. Good morning to you. See you Yankee red cap on this morning. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Radman. Listen, it's good to be on. It's good to be here. We wearing the red. You know, I'm all go blue today because you got the biggest game in college football annually is on today, Michigan versus Ohio State. But we wearing this red for Monroe. They represented last week out in All City High Stadium, and they beat a very, very talented Lackawanna team. and they represented 585. They had the 585 decals on the helmet, so we got on Monroe red for the day.
All right, and we're gonna get to them definitely. We're gonna get to that shortly with that aspect. But with the Bills being in Pittsburgh tomorrow, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, playing the Steelers, it looked like you can pass the ball on them, you can run on them. They announced Aaron Rodgers should be starting. It looks like the Bills should be coming after Aaron Rodgers and going after him in this contest tomorrow. How do you see this game shaping up?
What I love about it is as sometimes that adversity, you got Deion Dawkins out there, other starting right tackle is out for the game. They brought up Gabe Davis from the practice squad. They signed, you know what I mean? It seems like a lot of moves that could work against a team with their goals for the season. But I really feel like those are also the things that can galvanize a team when your backs are up against the wall. If I'm the Bills, I want to see how healthy Aaron Rodgers is. I'm sending blitzes. I'm putting bodies on him. Test that wrist out. See what is if he's really ready to be out there throwing, and get physical with him. Get as physical as you can with him, and make him show that he's healthy enough to be out there. I think if the Buffalo Bills can get physical on off their defense on the Steelers offense, I think the Bills can really control the clock, get the ball to James Cook, let that offense does what it's capable of doing.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that 100%. I think that with Cook is really impressing me of being able to run in between the tackles. I didn't think he would be able to survive in between the tackles, but he's been doing so. He's been able to, even against the number one run defense of the Houston Texans. That's the number one defense in the National Football League right now, stopping the run. The Bills were able to run early in that game. For some reason, they didn't get back to it. They went more to a passing game, but if they would have stuck with the run, and then injuries started happening too, and they started getting tired. And they started getting beat off the line because that it was so noisy in there. It seemed like the snap count, the Houston Texans handled the snap count of the Buffalo Bills a lot better than the Buffalo Bills offensive linemen. They were on them. As soon as they had the ball, the Bills guys weren't out of their stances. And they took Spencer Brown and Deion Dawkins. Both Deion Dawkins with the concussion, Spencer Brown with the shoulder injury. You could tell in the locker room that Spencer Brown was, man, you could tell he was really hurt. Terrell Bernard, he's definitely hurt. I don't know if it's dislocated elbow or what have you. He's a guy that I still say they should move him to safety. He should become the safety because he's just too small to be in the middle going up against these big bruising running backs. You gotta be able to stop them. The run. Yeah, Warren, these guys for the Steelers, they coming for bear. They're gonna run the football. You gotta stop the run of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Good morning, everyone. We're on Facebook, YouTube. We should be on there. Definitely, for sure. Check us out for sure this morning. Thank you, Top Gun. Thank you for Top Gun for getting that information to us. But definitely, we're getting it in. It should be a good game tomorrow. The Buffalo Bills versus the Pittsburgh Steelers should be a very good contest. Mike Tomlin, I have him ready. I know the Bills head coach making those adjustments. You mentioned the Gabe Davis is now elevated. They put Curtis Samuel on the IR, the 4-week IR. He's a high price. I was surprised they didn't outright cut him because he hurts them on the salary cap. I would have kept Elijah Moore instead of Curtis Samuel. I thought Moore gave you a little bit more than Elijah was doing with his playing ability at the present time. I think, but Brandon Cook, do you think he's going to be a distraction to the team? Because he's really not Deion, but Stephon Diggs 2.0. Really, he's hot-headed. He loses his cool. What do you think of that move?
I agree that there's the potential there for it. But when you're fighting to try to get a consistent roster spot and you've been signed up off the practice team, I think that allows you to go in there with a different kind of focus. And that focus that he's going to go in the game with, I think he'll be looking to make a statement game against Pittsburgh tomorrow. I don't think again, if it had happened earlier in the season, there might have been that chance for him to be a distraction. I think he's coming in to try to make a point, prove a point to the all the front office folks. Listen, I need to be on this roster.
Absolutely. I think so. I think he coming. And New Orleans paid him. So they paid his full salary, and that's rare that a team does that. They was like, yo, you got to go, man. All right. You want to be released? He got his way out of New Orleans, signing with a playoff contender. So it's all good for him. And I agree with you on that, Bilal. I think he's going to be at his best behavior to start with the Bills. Because he definitely can stretch the field. Tyrell Shavers could stretch the field too. Tyrell Shavers was open deep a couple of times in that game against the Texans. It was just Josh Allen didn't have enough time. I was wondering why Josh didn't roll out of the pocket, because there was no pocket of existence against the Houston Texans. If he just rolled out and just chucked that ball deep, Tyrell Shavers had a 50-50 chance of making a play at least get a chance to make a play. Don't just get out there and chuck it deep. You know what pattern he's running. Man, just get it down there and see what he can do. And that guy is fast. And I was surprised they didn't go to Shavers hardly at all in that loss to the Houston Texans. They didn't get a chance. They didn't roll him out, get out of the pressure and throw the ball away or throw it to a receiver that has a chance to make a play. So we'll see. And also, Keon Coleman is going to be interesting to see if Keon Coleman returns to the starting lineup tomorrow as well. So it's going to be interesting to see around 4 o'clock. Today, you'll see some elevated players today around 4, but tomorrow around 1 o'clock, you'll see the Bills, because the Bills game is 4:25. You'll see their roster or who their active players are for the game tomorrow. So Keon Coleman, keep an eye out on that. Defensive front for Darius Mathis, I think he'll be back in there on defense to help out. He looks like he's coming off the injured list. So the Bills defensive front should be a little bit energized to make some plays. And Joey Dreesen, the UB guy, it's time for him to step up. Let's see what he's going to do as a linebacker and see some of these linebackers and see what kind of action they can do tomorrow against the Steeler defensive offensive line. It's a very winnable game. I do definitely see the Bills winning this one, but we're gonna talk more about that later on when I do the winner's edge at the end of the show. Now we're gonna switch to around the NFL, and the hot topic this week is Shedeur Sanders. We got to talk about Shedeur Sanders, but before we talk about Shedeur Sanders, this next segment was brought to you by Challenger Community News, Western New York's largest weekly African-American newspaper. Pick it up at most businesses in the community. Email your articles to editor@thechallengernews.com or Buff. You can go to BUFFCHALLNEWS, S as in Sam, BuffChowNews.com. Go to the website. You can send your information in. We're looking for more and more news of what's going on here in Rochester and around Western New York. Just send your information in on upcoming events as well, and articles that you like to have published in the publication. This week's Challenger, the November 20th edition, was published a week ago because we were off for Thanksgiving. The Athletic graced the 33rd Annual Inner City Sports Legend Awards. It took place this past Wednesday night. Had a lot of nice guests there on the show. A lot of nice guests that were awarded this past Wednesday, including one of our guests, Don Patterson, Golden Gloves, good man. Don Patterson was one of the honorees. Congratulations, Don Patterson, and all the awardees at the 33rd Annual Inner City Sports Legends Awards ceremony. I see Lawrence, Mr. Brother, Reverend Lawrence Hargraves, his brother on the cover, and one of the group photos here on the cover of the Challenger. I know he's happy about his brother being is on the committee and was honored a few years ago going in. So it's great to have the Inner City Sports Legends Awards. And Bilal, we need to have something like that here in Rochester, honoring the Inner City sports legends here in Rochester.
I agree. I totally agree with you. I think we've had so much talent come out of Rochester, and we're often always waiting on Section 5 to recognize or to acknowledge the talent that's here. I'm with you. Let's try to put something together to honor and recognize, the great athletes who have come out of Section 5 from Rochester.
Yes, indeed. And we need to sit down and start doing that because we don't need to wait on Section 5. We need to go ahead. Yeah, as you see, 33 years ago, they said we ain't waiting on Section 6 or nothing over there in Buffalo. They started their own. And man, it was so many. Lester Rowe was there. Was so many the who's who of Buffalo legends, cats that I remember when I was playing. I said, man, Lester Rowe. Oh man, a lot of the cats were there just to be a part of it and see some of the new honorees that were going in. So congratulations to all the great athletes throughout Western New York and the people that attended the 33rd Annual Inner City Sports Legends Awards. So pick up Challenger Community News at most businesses in the community and check out all the great news, the Black History each week. African Americans pioneered basic math. Excellent article on how African Americans started math. Got math started, the whole 9 yards. It'd be great for you to read it, let your young people find out what's going on. Parents, young folks, pick up Challenger Community News at most businesses in the community. Yes, indeed. And now let's talk about Shedeur Sanders. As I was in Houston and we were talking even before the Raiders game was going to be played on Sunday, the Cleveland at the LA Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders. The guy was saying, Stefanski's dad is a guy, one of the football legend there in Houston. We were all talking in the press box, and the guy said, no. I said, I didn't realize S. Stefanski is Coach Stefanski's father, and S. Stefanski was the president and general manager of the Philadelphia 76ers, along other jobs that he's had. Matter of fact, he's still a consultant. He's still getting paid. He's a consultant for the Phoenix Suns currently. But when he was with the Philadelphia 76ers, he's the main one that gave Allen Iverson had a big problem with Allen Iverson, had a big problem with how they sat on the bench. He said, hey, you can't be on the bench looking like a thug or a gangster or something. That was something from Ed Stefanski to Allen Iverson, and he forced them to say, hey, you got to wear a suit and tie, and the league tried to change it to you got to wear a suit and tie when you're when you're not playing and things of that. And of course, he ran Allen Iverson out of Philly, and Allen Iverson, of course, wore the jewelry, boom, the whole 9 yards, the jeans, the T-shirts, whatever the case may be, the dress of that era. Allen Iverson was dressing like. Now we go full speed to now, Shedeur Sanders wearing his gold, unapologetic African-American young man, a very talented young man, comes from a great family. Everybody knows his family and everything, or heard of his family. And the one thing I noticed, Bilal, even at a restaurant, me and AD was having dinner, and we were talking about the games, and the lady came up and said, what about this Shedeur Sanders? And she asked us about him. How come he's not starting? How come he's just not playing? And it's interesting that in the Black community, not only Black men, but Black women that even are not sports fans just know about Shedeur Sanders and know the predicament that he's been in with the Cleveland Browns and want to know what's going on. And he has the support of, I would say, almost all of the Black community, men and women, support this young man and want to see him succeed. Because they through the last 2-3 years, even in college, you see them talking about Shedeur Sanders. And I think he showed you last Sunday what he can do on the football field. The potential's there. Bilal, and before we go to Bilal, call in if you got a comment. 585-509-595-1055. That's 585 area code 595-1055. We love to hear your comments on Shedeur Sanders or even on the Buffalo Bills. Bilal, your comments?
Man, listen, we about to get unfiltered. We've said this, we've said it a lot in our offline conversations after the show, how, from the start of the season, from training camp with Shedeur, how the Browns organization has handled him, how poorly they've handled this situation. Even in the second preseason game when Dillon Gabriel played as well as Shedeur, they've not put that young man in a position to be successful, and then use that second preseason performance to relegate him to the bench going into the season. Like he was third on the depth chart, fourth when training camp started, and then relegated him to third once they named Joe Flacco the starter. Dillon Gabriel was getting first team reps, and everyone wants to say, life is a backup quarterback. You don't get first team reps. I've heard some quarterbacks, Chase Daniels came out and said that. I know they also said what's my man that was Kurt Warner he said he never gave backups reps. Well, he was coming from a backups experience, so he was in a mindset of man, I could end up the backup. So he didn't want to give backup reps. But as a team and as a franchise, if one, you're trying to put your team in the best position to succeed. You want to make sure you've prepared everybody who might potentially go on that field to have some sort of when your own offensive line is saying, I've never heard the kid's cadence, that's a problem. That's absurd. Again, that's not hyperbole. That's coming from the players on the field. I think the other thing that a franchise has to be mindful of is what your players in the locker room feel about who can give them the best chance to succeed. Game recognized game. And when you got before the season, there was an exchange that ended up on that kind of went viral a little bit between Shedeur Sanders and Myles Garrett. And so Shedeur Sanders told Myles Garrett he wanted to feel, kind of have that rush on him. Myles Garrett said, man, you don't want that, young man. He said, we're going to need you. We're going to need you later on in the season. We're going to need you, which said to me that Myles Garrett identified early on that this young man's, based on what he had seen and been around in practice, he saw something special in that young man. Get that. They should have gotten him on the field much sooner to have an opportunity to play and energize. A lot of what we saw last week wasn't just a byproduct of his success on the field, but the energy that he brought with him in terms of, man, he brings swagger to that team. And swagger is something that the Browns haven't had in a long time, in a real long time. And that swagger, that confidence allows you to go on the field and say, you know what, even you brought up Allen Iverson. When Allen Iverson was with the 76ers, even if you felt like we were playing against a better team, you said to yourself, we got this guy on our roster, we got a chance. He makes you feel like, I don't care who we playing against, we have a chance. And that's what Shedeur does for this locker room. And if you can use all the X's and O's you want, but when a guy brings that to the locker room, you can't quantify that in intangibles. And then you get on the field, and then they got 3 passes for completed for over 30 yards this season, and they all happened last week with Shedeur.
That's amazing. And we have Morris Thompson on the Beltway, Ernesto Walker also checking us in on the social media platforms. And Thompson, Brother Thompson says he's still being a little arrogant when he said, I've been looking for this. He said something to the reporter after the game in the post-game interview. And see what else Thompson had to say here, that he also trying to force the ball. But Brother Thompson, hey, he's a rookie. He's going to force the ball. And how about Baker Mayfield? And how about the little guy from Texas A&M that Cleveland also drafted #1 that was very arrogant? Both of those guys were very arrogant, but it took the guy out of Texas, it never materialized for Johnny Manziel. It didn't materialize for Johnny Manziel. He just couldn't get it done at the NFL level. He was a very good college quarterback, but Baker Mayfield, it took a while. And Baker Mayfield, that's what energizes Baker Mayfield to be a good player, being arrogant. But how come they don't call him arrogant when that's what I'm saying. You're using the term arrogant for Shedeur Sanders, where you got a lot of white quarterbacks that are very arrogant. And Aaron Rodgers, another one. Very arrogant. Respectfully,
I don't buy into the whole arrogance thing. No, the young man said in a pregame interview, the reporter asked, what do you hope to show the Cleveland Browns organization and fan base today? All he said was that I'm who they've been looking for. If you don't have that kind of belief in yourself, then I don't want you on my field. I as someone who's played the game, if you don't have confidence and belief in yourself, I don't want to line up with you. I want you to go out there believing that you have what it takes to be out there to be successful. That young man has not only had it, he's had it forged. He's had it forged through adversity. If I'm being completely honest, I feel like the whole him getting dropped to the 5th round and taken in the 5th round was a byproduct and reflection of people wanting to try to, I would call it buck breaking. You know what I mean? And if you know what the term buck breaking means, if not, you know what I mean? We got Google AI. You know what I mean? But he gets to the organization, and And every question that they tried to ask him to try to trip him up, he handled it. If you just watch his interviews and how well he handled the questions that they were trying to answer him, the young man's got confidence. I really feel like he was held as low as he was on the depth chart because people have felt like he's always played for his father, and so he never had to earn a starting position or a starting spot. And so let's see if he's willing to work for it and earn it rather than having it handed to him. And the young man has earned it. You know, as a rookie, you expect certain things. One of the things that I saw that I was really excited to see in terms of his growth last week was one of the things that got him in trouble in that second preseason game was he would drift back a lot. You know what I mean? He moved a lot better in and around the pocket without drifting back and costing his team yards on a potential sack last week. Again, we can say he had a decent game, but let's unpack those numbers a little deeper, right? The one touchdown he had could have been 3 or 4. You had a Jerry Jeudy, just ridiculous fumble on a long reception that would have positioned him deep in the red zone. And then on the other 3 possessions, they get deep in the red zone and they take Shedeur out and to put Quinshon Judkins in the Wildcat. Like so let's if we're gonna talk about it, let's talk about all of the nuance that went into why his game and the stats were only perhaps decent and not, let's say, 15 for 25 for 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. You know what I mean? He put them in position to score multiple drives and then gets taken out of the game. Taken out to for what I'm still trying to figure out because we haven't gotten a straight answer yet from Kevin Stefanski or the OC about why they went that route. So rather than finding ways to hyper scrutinize what numbers were left on the field, let's look at what really he did in terms of moving that offense and matriculate that offense downfield and what that does to open up the entire playbook for an offense.
Absolutely, and when you see him being treated similar the way Allen Iverson was being treated by this guy's father, hey man, the apple don't fall too far from the tree, as they usually say. And you got to remember, you just said, but he's a rookie. Give the guy an opportunity. He's not now. You take him out in the red zone inside the 10-yard line, and you go with the running back of running the shotgun. That's very similar to the Bills. Not handing the ball off to the running back at the 2-yard line or the 1-yard line, and you getting Josh Allen to run in and just slide in for the touchdowns and pad his TD scores where the running back's not carrying the ball. So it's a way teams can maneuver things to make a guy look better or make a guy look so. And like you said, let's see in the coming weeks with Shedeur Sanders. Hey, I know we got some call Vision Barbershop. I know you got something to say about the Steelers game. 585-595-1055. Give a call in. 585-595-1055. This segment is brought to you by award-winning Miriam Rivera Farmers Insurance Agency, Auto, Home, Health, and Life Insurance, 1038 Lyle Avenue or 511 Bean Road, Suite B. Give her a call. If she saved Radman and the whole crew a hell of a lot of money, I guarantee you, get a free quote from her, and I guarantee you she got a good chance to save you a hell of a lot of money as well. 585-360-0094 is the number to call to possibly save yourself some money on auto, home, health, and life insurance. She also deals with others besides other insurance companies besides Farmers, Progressive, and some other ones as well. Check them out. She can save you some money. 585-360-0094. Where do the Browns go from here, Bilal? What do you think? Will they have to keep Shedeur Sanders in when Dylan Gabriel comes out of concussion protocol?
Yeah, listen, because at this point, if Shedeur keeps performing, if he puts up, continues to produce, and you see the energy around that team trending the way it was, last week with him being on the field, if that continues to happen, a healthy Dylan Gabriel trying to pull Shedeur to put in a healthy Dillon Gabriel would be pretty much the organization asking for a mutiny. They want the fans to mutiny, and they would completely lose the locker room at that point. I think the locker room has galvanized around Shedeur Sanders, and I think you go with that energy. Again, don't put him on a short leash, because we had 6 games to see Dillon Gabriel dink and dunk and try to check down his way into solidifying the starting job. But Shedeur Sanders gets on the field, and there's excitement, there's energy around it. It's a blind man can see. Stevie Wonder can see that this young man brings something different to, you want to measure all the statistics and all the analytics and all that. Man, there's facts. There's certain things that matter, and the things that there's that thing called the it factor, and you say you can't touch it, you can't quite feel, but you know it when you see it, and Shedeur has that, and Steve G 2448. Shedeur will be exposed by the 49ers. You're talking about a 49ers defense who's been perennially one of the best defenses in the league for the last, put a number of years on it. I'm a 49ers fan, so I know that defense, and I know how good that defense is. I know how good they've been with Robert Saleh. Then during the period of time when Robert Saleh went to the Jets to be the head coach, and now that he's back, we know what that defense is. So if he struggles, I would expect a rookie quarterback to struggle against a defense that's been consistently deep in the postseason, as well as has had a Super Bowl appearance. So would he be exposed? No, that wouldn't be exposed. It would be a rookie playing like a rookie. Caleb Williams has how many defenses have exposed Caleb Williams? How many defenses did Dillon Gabriel get exposed by? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We can hide behind and not say what we want to say as far as what our real issue with Shedeur might be. But if we're looking at again, if we're going to measure again, if we want to measure the QB rating, how can we get an accurate or a true assessment of what his quarterback rating would have been when he gets taken out, when they get deep into the red zone?
Right, yeah, absolutely.
You know what I
mean? One last thing, Bilal, and also our listeners out there. Another funny thing happened in that game where over in Buffalo at Thanksgiving yesterday, Stevie Joe Jones, Steven showed me. He said they Cleveland had the ball at the 29-yard line of the Raiders. They didn't convert third down, so it was fourth down. Instead of kicking the field goal, which would have been a 49-yarder, maybe a 45 to 49, maybe a 50-yard field goal attempt, they're up by 14 points. So why wouldn't you kick the field goal, go up by 2.5 scores, really 3 scores, and really put the game away where you're up by 2? Instead, they punt the ball deep inside the Raiders' territory to force the Raiders to go from there. But normally, most teams would have kicked the field goal. So why did Stefanski not? And of course, it led to he kept when he finally showed me the play on film. It showed on the screen that the over and under was over 35. So wait a minute. So it was at 34. They needed that 3 points of a field goal would have put that game over the 35. So once again, my cousin was talking about, that Stefanski's not a good head coach. I said, why isn't he good? Okay, because I was trying to figure out his rationale. But then when I saw that the points, I said, oh, you relaying this to gambling. This is now you relaying his coaching decision to gambling, because it is kind of strange that he didn't kick the field goal to go up by. They would have been up by 17. It was 24-10. That means 34 points, and then the field goal would have made it 37, and that would have put it over the 35. So you can't have it both ways, fans. You can't. Absolutely.
I think you're gonna love this, Radman, because not everybody can go back this far, right?
Right.
You remember when Magic Johnson was got into the league early on? he wins the championship his rookie year. Then the next year, they named Paul Westhead as the full-time head coach for the Lakers.
Okay, yes.
Paul Westhead tries to put in this thing called the system. And it was all about, guys being at certain places at certain points in times on the court. And it was a real change and shift from what Magic Johnson and the way Magic Johnson believed that his style of play best helped the team. And it was like there was this battle of wills between Paul Westhead and Magic Johnson. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, like one of those egos and personalities has to go.
Yes.
And again, if you chose, you can tell. To me, it's obvious. It's beyond obvious that somebody in the Browns organization wanted Shedeur, but what's clear is that it wasn't Kevin Stefanski.
Correct.
So because he's been forced to have somebody on his roster that he didn't want on his roster, and now he was then forced to be in a position to have to play him. And then the worst thing happens is now the guy produces. Now you got to play him again. You know what I mean? His hand is being forced, and I feel like his ego is bruised right now. And they've always tried to make it about a Shedeur ego thing, but the problem is why is nobody talking about the ego of the head coach?
Yeah. Yeah,
absolutely. We love to throw up a player's ego, but we never talk about the head coach or the organization's ego when it comes to certain things. You know what I mean? Stefanski's ego has been as much a part of this the friction that's happened. I feel like the issue that's really underlying all of this is Stefanski's. Stefanski's ego plays a part in it as well. He didn't want to give the man any kind of flowers or it was like a blow past kind of acknowledgement in the post game. Didn't give the man a game ball. 30 years it's been since you had a rookie or win his first start, or you know what I mean, in Cleveland, and you know what I mean. You couldn't throw him a game ball because if you're familiar with NFL locker rooms, and I'm sure Radman, you know this, man. Yeah. They don't just give out one; they give out a bunch.
Yeah, they sure do. Do.
So Shedeur could have got a game ball. You know what I mean? But you so worried about trying to placate Dylan Gabriel's ego. You know what I mean? Like what the reality is tying back to Paul Westhead. Ultimately, somebody had to go. Magic said, "Trade me." Let it go. No, let it go. I mean, the reality is the reality, and it's been too long not said. It's too long. It hasn't been said. It's gone without being said. So yeah, he's got a chance now, and people are mad and upset about it, but they'll get over it.
And that's a perfect, excellent analogy, because I forgot about you. You're right. Paul Westhead and Magic Johnson, it came to a boiling point, and the owner had to step in, and Paul Westhead was the odd man out and had to leave out. And we're going to see if Shedeur continues to grow and prosper there, and the Cleveland fans like him, the teammates like him, the whole 9 yards. Hey, it might be time for Stefanski to get up out of Cleveland, because hey man, he's done a little bit better than Hugh Jackson when Hugh Jackson was there, but he hasn't done that much better to solidify himself as the coach of the
what makes him so indispensable? What makes him so indispensable?
Absolutely. And hey, we want to move to our next segment, our high school segment, Advantage Federal Credit Union, AdvantageAFCU.org. Check out Advantage Federal Credit Union for auto loans, Visa cards, student check, free student checking accounts, and much, much more. They have a lot going on for the young people. Hey, you want to get started with a checking account? Check out the Advantage Federal Credit Union and check out their website, AdvantageAFCU.org. Check that out for auto loans, Visa cards, student checking accounts, and much, much more. And we have a coach of Monroe High School. J-GILLZ had a quick comment. Let's have it here what Coach Monroe, Tyrone Cunningham Jr. of Monroe High School had to say about his team.
I'm here with head coach Terrell Cunningham, senior coach. Obviously, man, 40-14. This was a good game, tough game. Your boys came out. They came out ready to play. What went into preparation for this game?
Essentially, we watched a lot of film. Our game planning is top notch. We put these guys through a great 4 week of practice, but the work is still not finished. We got 2 more weeks to go.
2 more weeks to go. Your team, they came ready to play. They've been in this spot, but now they're going to the top 4, the final 4. What is the mindset needed to push forward and get these last 2?
Finish the job.
Appreciate you, coach.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Coach, what does they have to do to win this game coming up later today, Bilal?
You know what? So in my little research about Owego Free Academy, they are a dominant running team, and what they want to do is they want. I think their game plan going in against Monroe, because everyone knows Monroe has the ability to put up a lot of points and put up a lot of points through the air. I don't know who follows Owego Free Academy or OFA, but they gave up over 400 yards passing last week and still won. Because they have a running attack that's dominant. But they're new kids on the block. This is their first. Last week was their first win as a program in the state level competition. Monroe is a program that is poised. They've been there, and I feel like this is an opportunity for them to go and show, we've been here. We have the experience, and you saw that experience actually came through last week. You saw they didn't panic. They didn't let the momentum of the game as it shifted and swayed at different points become too much. And honestly, if you watch the game, and I watched every snap of that game last week, Monroe came out and they dominated Lackawanna in the first quarter, and everyone was, what happened? They seemed to they took their foot off the gas.
Exactly. And on defense, do you think the key to this game also with this Oswego Free Academy, they look like they want to run the football and try to keep the Monroe team off the field? So DeMarlo Trammell and Jermaine Montgomery, those guys are going to be very important in today's game defensively.
So Jermaine Montgomery for sure. We call him Baby J. Baby J is this young man is a top tier middle linebacker. So is Christian Franklin. And Marco. Marco's gonna patrol that secondary at safety. But I really think that OFA, Owego Free Academy, is gonna try to run the ball to keep it out of the Monroe offense hands, that dangerous Monroe offense. But what people don't realize is Monroe can run the ball just as good as any program in the state. They can run the ball just as good. And I would come out and I would run the ball. If I was Coach Cunningham, I would come out and look to run the ball and control the clock and keep Owego Free's offense from getting on the field. Control the clock. We know you can get a score in short order when you need it, and you know that it's going to be there for you. Come out and control the clock. Dominate the time of possession, because I really think that would work against what OFA wants to do.
Absolutely. And keep in mind, this segment is also brought to you by Experience Award-winning authentic Indian food in a warm, inviting atmosphere. That's Delhi of India. The lunch buffet served 11:30 to 2 p.m. and dinner served from 4:40 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. 3259 South Winton Road in the Win Jeff Plaza. That's 3259 South Winton Road in the Win Jeff Plaza. Voted Rochester's #1 buffet. And this Indian style food Hey, I'm trying the vegan food out right now. Oh man, it's outstanding. I told him, you sure you don't have no ground beef in this one? He said, no. He started laughing. No, brother Singh said, no, brother, Mr. George, no. We don't do that. This is vegan here. This is eggplant. He said, this eggplant is nice and hearty. He said that eggplant makes you think you're eating meat over there. And man, I'm digging out in the vegan buffet side of it now a little bit more often when I go there. So experience it, check it out. Hey man, I never thought I liked vegan food, and man, they stir it up just the right way at Thalia's of India. Check out that lunch buffet where you get a chance to sample a little bit of everything from 11:30 to 2 p.m. Monday through Fridays. 3259 South Winton Road in the Wynn Jeff Plaza, or check out the dinner menu from 4:40 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. as well. Gotta get out there, Bilal. You gotta check them out, man.
Listen. You got me ready to try it, Radman. You got me ready to try it.
Absolutely. And what do you think the final score is going to be in this? What do you think the final outcome of this game later today?
I'll go 31-14. Again, OFA is not a high scoring team.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the way Monroe can put up points in bunches, I really think they're gonna come out. They're gonna make a statement. They got talent all over the field. I mean, Terrell Cunningham Jr. throwing the ball to Messiah Cunningham, or Messiah Hampton. You got Ray Garcia. Again, you've got Brian Walker, a 6'4" receiver. I mean, who's a junior. The kid can jump out of the gym. They've got so much talent on that team. It is gonna if they play Monroe mistake-free football, they had a lot of bad snaps, and so one of the factors, and again, a lot of people that may not follow the sport at this level won't know this. When you get to the state level competition in the tournament, they issue you new balls to play with, so you have to play with the balls that are issued. Mm-hmm. So you don't get to play with your game balls. The official crew, in the state tournament, they issue the game balls. So there's a lot of time it's new game balls, and they're slick. They have that slick new finish on them. So a lot of the snaps that you saw that were errant, can be caused by that unfamiliarity with the football, and they're being so slick. I think they clean up all those mistakes this week, and they come out and they play dominant Monroe football. All
righty, there we have it. We definitely look forward to that game, and we look forward to having comments on that contest next week exactly to see will they be playing in the Dome next weekend for the championship. I have a feeling they will be.
We going to the Dome.
In the Dome, it'll be in Syracuse. All roads lead back to Syracuse again next week for the championship. And for the people, so everyone's just asking. No, since there's Section 6 over in Buffalo, now that they joined the Section 6 tournament, they don't have a all-high game on Thanksgiving Day like they used to at All-High Stadium. They're now part of the sectional, so they don't have a game on Thanksgiving Day like they used to back in the day, Brother Thompson. I know me and you remember all those great games on Turkey Day, Thanksgiving Day. Get over there at 10, 11 in the morning, watch the game, and then head home for that turkey after seeing the All-High Championship. But now that they've now been accepted and now forced their way into the Section 6 tournament, those teams are in the tournament as well. So definitely. And last but not least, before we go to our pick'ems, Kimmy does it best with custom web design, website and design work, ongoing maintenance. Kimmy can help your business online grow. So visit KimmyDoesItBest.com. KimmyDoesItBest.com. If you want to see some of her work, check out RealDealSportsShow.com. Check out our website, RealDealSportsShow.com. She does an excellent job with our website each week, maintaining it, and also having our updated picks. So go there and check out our picks of the games each week of what the Radman has picked this week, including the Houston getting 6 points at Indy. I think with C.J. Stroud coming back, and if that defense continues to play hungry like they did against the Bills, I'm taking the 6 points for Houston at Indy. I think, and Daniel Jones talking about a leg injury now. Now they talk about he got some type of injury. Bilal, watch out for Daniel Jones. I think he might realize he's really Daniel Jones. What do you think? He might wake up and say, "Oh, damn, I'm Daniel Jones." Oh my!
Listen, the defense, the worst possible defense to be trying to go up against with a fracture in your fibula is a defense like the Houston Texans. That defense is too fast, too physical, and too hungry. I mean, their schemes. This might be, you know, you never want to see a guy get injured,
right?
But they might have to try to protect Daniel Jones if they want to make a playoff push. It might be an early day for him. You know, if he's taking too much punishment, you might want to get him out of there.
Exactly. And Josh Allen, you saw what they did to Josh Allen last Thursday night, man. Good gracious, man. No boy. They better come with some draw plays and give the ball to Jonathan Taylor. Give him some draws and some quick screens that the Bills didn't do. You would have to. He's in serious trouble because those guys are fast. Daniel Hunter, Willie Anderson Jr. Man, they're big, strong, and they're fast. So check.
Absolutely, they are. They're so physical. You don't want to get your starting quarterback hurt. That would be a nail in your season's coffin.
Absolutely. And BacSpin, I know he can't wait to come. I'm surprised he's not in already. Talking about those Cowboys, those amazing Dallas Cowboys, man. They done got energized. BacSpin, did you go down there and talk to them or something? Did you have some
How about them Cowboys, man? How about them? Beating two teams who was in the Super Bowl last year. I mean, we just looking like a Super Bowl caliber squad right now. Yeah, I said it. We looking like a Super Bowl caliber squad right now, man. How about them Cowboys?
How many seasons has that been said about the Cowboys in the last maybe 5 years?
It ain't been said like this, you know what I mean? Before it was just wishful thinking, you know what I mean? It was just wishful thinking. Right now, yeah, man, we thinking it can really, really happen this year. So, hey, you see it? I mean, I ain't got a key. You see it? Y'all see it for yourself. We got two number one receivers on the same squad, man. What is we doing, man? We got the best quarterback in the league right now. Jalen is hurts. You know what I'm saying? He's hurt. And I'm not talking about his last name. He's physically hurt the way he's been playing lately. Your boy Patrick Mahomes, who's been the darling quarterback of the league for the last, 5-6 years? Yeah. He's not playing up to par right now. I mean, my man Dak is looking like MVP. Even Josh Allen is not playing to the caliber that Dak Prescott is playing.
You know who is, though?
Who?
The Rams.
Yeah, Stafford is getting busy, man. He is getting busy. But he ain't got two number one receivers. You know what I'm saying?
But he got a defense.
He sure does. They do have a defense and a running game.
He does, and our defense isn't as bad as it was when we started this season. So, hey, man, I'm optimistic. You know what I mean? I know we still got a lot of work to do, but we can run the board, get in the playoffs, and once you're in the playoffs, baby, anything can happen. So
absolutely. I love your comment, what you just said about Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is getting it done. It's just he had the ball right in the, man, what do you want to do? Carry the ball and hand it to the guy? The dude, number 4 was
he had 3 or 4
drops. Man, he had critical drops in that game. And even back on Sunday, the previous game, Patrick Mahomes, people don't realize that guy is phenomenal. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yes, but you need him to catch the ball in order for you to get your stats. You know what I'm saying?
You do. And the Bills, Kansas City, they've been on top for 5 years. Now you see the teams that are starting to got their draft picks. They're growing their teams. And now you see in Buffalo and Kansas City are starting to take a step back because that's usually what happens. You start getting injured. The Bills line is now, the 2 years in a row, they went without injury. Now the injuries come in because you just can't play more. Buffalo and Kansas City play more games than anybody else in the AFC and in the National Football League, really, because they've been in the championship game or the semifinals the last 4. For Kansas City, heck, it's been almost 7 years for them. It's a time that the injuries are going to creep up and get you. But Patrick Mahomes, man, no matter what, that man still, he's like a magician out there. I mean, he was rolling and running for and throwing. I mean, this dart.
The number of passes are unbelievable. I mean, that's probably the most impressive thing. I mean, the way he commands an offense and control a defense with every facet of his game. But you can't live and die on one-score games, and they made a living out of that last season. And what they're finding out is this season is not last season, and you can't try to make it to make a deep postseason run living on one-score games.
That's a fact. You know what though? Joe Burrow came back looking like Joe Burrow after all that time off. I'm kind of hopefully they season's about over with. But he's gonna be special next season as long as he can stay healthy. We
Yeah,
gotta leave it there, fellas. I appreciate y'all, man. Real Deal Sports Show. Y'all know what it is every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. right here on the Beat 105.5. Y'all have a great weekend and enjoy some football, fellas.
And please remember to be a good sport.
Yes, indeed. Keep it
Go
where you
Blue.
need it, Rock City. Coming up is the Bag of Time Mix Show right here on the Beat.